I was talking to someone today and was saying, hey, look, 2021's around the corner. Yay, isn't this exciting? And I think they were hoping that we pass a magical date on the calendar and the world just magically going to change. Doesn't really look that way yet. I mean, if we're talking about the COVID stuff, we've got the vaccines, there's some light at the end of the tunnel, but I don't think January 1st, everything's going to change. Cybersecurity, not changing at all. January 28th is Data Privacy Day, so we're going to be talking a lot about digital privacy coming up in the next little while, but we're still going to be seeing, well, attacks and never-do-wells. I mean, we got hackers, scammers, organized crime, and there was a case of hacktivism recently. Going to talk about that too soon. But this week, we've been totally dominated in the cybersecurity space anyways, with this incident that occurred, was reported last weekend. I'm recording this, happens to be on a Wednesday. The Pentagon ended up shutting down their system that deals with private information, secret information, up to the top secret designation. They had to shut that system down for fears of a hacking event that occurred that went after a piece of software made by a company by SolarWinds. SolarWinds is a very large company based out of Texas. They have different software suites used by different organizations. One of them used by companies in my space that assist smaller to medium-sized companies with remote monitoring and maintenance of systems and update systems. But they have some other software, happen to be called Orion in this case. Really big software. Users, like AT&T, Department of Homeland Security, apparently Department of Defense. A lot of big companies use this software. Now, one of the security firms that we happen to partner with, they're called Huntress. Their CEO, love Kyle. Kyle's an amazing gentleman. He used to be a United States Air Force offensive cyber weapons operator. Let that sink in for a second. United States Air Force offensive cyber weapons operator. Figure that out. Well, it turns out this hack of Orion, SolarWinds software, traces back to an organization, allegedly, APT29, which has very close ties to the Russian Foreign Intelligence Agency. So kind of like the Russian NSA. Offensive cyber weapons. And this one was sophisticated. Really sophisticated. Kyle had dived into this. I should also mention that Kyle, I speak very highly of him because he led teams that won Capture the Flag at Black Hat in Vegas. So that's like an event where a lot of hackers, white hat hackers, black hat hackers, whomever, go there and basically they show off their muscles when it comes to security by capturing the flags and hacking into stuff. The goal is who is good enough to hack into that stuff, and Kyle's team has won in the past. Anyways, the breakdown of what APT29 did, nothing short of a masterpiece, really, from the IT security space. And I won't go into all the bits and bytes of the situation, but they really took some time to understand how this software worked, how this software looked. I mean, when they loaded their hack into the software, they made it look just like the software. I mean, it was so good, the developers of the actual software would have a hard time knowing it was there. They use the same naming conventions. They use the same file structures. And talk about patient. This thing had a payload. When we say payload, basically if they were able to get this software onto a system, it wouldn't check in or activate for like days. Now that's real dedication. That means somebody that thinks their game is so good, it's not going to be seen. And it turns out they were right. They were compromising systems since last March. So while we were all talking about COVID and quarantine, these folks were infecting systems and had been, and we're only really finding out about it now. They've been on systems since March. Patient. Really good. And you go, well, Scott, I'm not a big company. I'm not the government. Who's going to be coming after us? That's a fair point. What you got to stop and think about, though, is now we know this has happened. You know else who knows this has happened? Other bad guys. And there's going to be lessons learned in this. And the other bad guys that maybe don't go after those large companies are going to go, hey, how'd they do that? Well, that's an interesting concept. Well, maybe if I use that in my hacks and my scans, this is going to work its way down. And it is going to end up hitting smaller companies. It's going to have a different flavor. It's going to have potentially a different delivery system. But the bad guys learn the same as any company, right? So as any human, right? We run into a situation and we go, oh, well, I didn't like that, so I'll change this. As a company, we're always looking to build efficiencies. How can we do things better with less and cheaper? Guess what? Cybercrime's a business, and they're looking to do the exact same thing. So while the good guys are taking a look at this saying, how did this happen, and how do we try to protect against it, other cyber criminals, they're looking at this going, how can I use this? How can I tweak this? How can I take this lesson learned and go make me some money out of this? That's really what the big takeaway's got to be. You don't have to understand the bits and bytes. You might say, Scott, really, I've heard about it. It's been in the news, but really, it's just you IT guys that keep talking about this. You cybersecurity guys are all worried about it. Yeah, because it was really, really good and devastating. I mean, we still don't know how devastating this is or how this is going to play out. But when you can make the Department of Homeland Security, the Pentagon has to shut down systems, AT&T has had issues, yeah, this is going to be big, and we're going to keep hearing about this for a while. And I'm now worried about how this is going to flow down and impact your smaller company or your business or your employer, and how do we protect against it? There's going to be a lot of lessons learned here. There'll probably be some more updates about this as we move along and get set for January 28th, World Data Privacy Day.